Look at that. Nice little lake trout. It's rolling and rolling and rolling in the line. Look at this.
Look how close we are to shore.
That sound it was making, by the way, that was just releasing some air.
Yeah, he's a squirmy little guy.
Yep.
You got him. You got him. Yep.
Let's go fishing. People, when you're in the mood, let's go fishing. Well, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing. When you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, conquer outdoors. Insect Defend Patch, deep-free protection from biting insects. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922.
Aaron, that didn't take long. Oh man, we just missed 7 a.m. It's 7:03.
First hit, actually second hit of the day.
Good.
I had one little tap
Yeah.
on this spot, and then wham.
Hopefully it's a lake trout.
I think it's a laker.
I mean, we're out here, you know, in the open. It's about 150 feet of water. We just started fishing a few minutes ago, and Aaron dropped down a spoon, and we're going to see here. He's reeling it slow, because when you get a lake trout deeper, and yeah, it's a small lake trout.
Yep.
Hooked just slightly by the mouth.
There.
Going to keep it in the
Beautiful.
water just for a second until I lift it up. Good one.
Good start. I thought I'd try something a little different. You're working a soft plastic minnow
Yeah.
Trigger X. And
Can
I
you
figured
get it?
I would.
Okay,
Yep.
I'm just going to hold the net there for you.
Yep.
It looks like he's got all 3 hooks.
Oh wow, look at that.
I wonder if they stock fish. Do they stock lakers in Lake Joseph, or are these all natural?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. There we go.
It's a start, right? They're all
Absolutely.
different sizes.
For your players,
Yep,
thank you.
Perfect.
Great
Nice
little
little
fish.
lake trout,
It's,
yeah.
it's a small one, but it's a start, you know?
Yeah.
They're
You can see the color. They call them gray trout as well. We're going to get it back in the water real quick. So why don't we put it
Yeah,
in
he's
the
a
net
squirmy
area?
little guy.
Yep. Here.
But
We'll
it's
put
a
it
good
in
start.
here.
I mean, they're this big, and
Yep.
you know they get up all the way to 20 and even plus.
Plastic lures have come a long way. They come now in all different sizes, configurations, colors, and even the type of plastic that they're made out of. What I'm holding up is part of the Trigger X line, and these are pheromone impregnated. And this is called the drop dead minnow. And you can see that it's rigged if you want to just fish it with a large worm hook and just fish it subsurface, or you can use a traditional jig head or even some jig heads that are different configuration and fish it like a jig down deeper. Now we did really well today using these body baits that are anywhere from about 4 to 5 inches long. So this one is a straight tail. You can see it doesn't have an action tail, but when you move it, it does have a really lifelike action. These other two are paddle tail type minnows, and they're both 4.5 inches long. You can see that one is a little bit flatter, it has a wider body, and one is narrower. So whenever these drop or when they're lifted, the tails go back and forth. I believe that they actually draw fish from a further distance. Now you can fish these with any jig heads that I'm showing here. The key is that you have a heavy enough jig head to get you down to the bottom. A lot of times when I'm using some of these fish-shaped plastic baits, I like to use the jig heads that actually look like a fish. And these flatter ones tend to make the jig plane a little bit on the drop, and sometimes that produces more hits. So the key, especially when you're lake trout fishing, is trying to get in their zone, whether they're suspended in deep water and hanging somewhere in between the top and the bottom water column, or right down near the bottom. Very important to get that presentation down in front of the fish.
Xmark, you find fish catch of the day.
Hello, Roger. Are you ready to tell me all about your monster carp and how you caught it using the You Find Fish mobile app?
Actually, the first fish I caught was about 27 pounds, and it came along in about 2 minutes after I cast in. It was quite lucky, really, getting on that quickly. Then I caught another one probably an hour later, about 17 pounds. The conditions were poor, to say the least, but nevertheless, it's fishing. It's better than sitting at home.
Dynamite, what's your super secret way to catch these carp? I mean, look at this thing. It's gorgeous.
I fire out a load of corn and then fish amongst it, and hopefully any carp passing through will get down onto the corn and take my hook bait.
Aaron,
Very nice.
it doesn't feel like a big fish, but it's kind of neat.
Yeah, absolutely. Vertical jigging.
Did
is
you just
so
miss
cool.
one? Did I
I
hear
did.
you?
I just missed one right now.
I feel so bad if this is the fish you had on.
That's okay. We're having a fun day out.
Aaron's got a spinning outfit on. I'm just using, this is a shift. It's a bait caster that you'd use for bass or walleye fishing. And for this kind of fishing, I mean, you can just use medium action gear. We're both using light line, 10-pound test braid, because it has such a nice drop rate. And we're using the Suffix fluorocarbon leaders. And I've got this bright yellow line, because sometimes I think it helps. So, you know what? We're not even going to use the net.
No.
I'm just going to lift it right in the boat. Look at that. Nice little lake trout.
Beautiful.
I think it went for that little bit of flash. You know how you said earlier?
Yeah,
that, you know, it's a confidence builder.
Just doctoring it up.
Aaron put a little bit of tape on. Was it the glow in the dark?
No, it's not glow in the dark. It's UV crush.
Okay, so it maintains the color.
Yeah.
Nice little lake trout. Kind of reminds me of the ones you get ice fishing, you know, because you get, when you're fishing northern lakes like the Muskokas halibutton, that's actually a very common size of fish,
Yeah.
especially for a lake that's got natural reproduction. So I'm just going to hold
Pretty
them in the
colors on
water. You hook one, okay, while I'm talking. This guy should just flip right off. Lake trout are notorious for spinning in the line. He's just going to drop off, which is good. There. Now there's that spoon. You know, this is a classic ice fishing lure. I'm sure you've used the Morsilda a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the big one. It's funny because it's in metric. It's 27 grams. I don't know, maybe that's around an ounce. You can see that little bit of flash that I put on there. Actually, that used to be a hook, but I cut the hooks off the hook, so it's just the actual eye, and I put a little bit of 10-pound fluorocarbon on there, just so it kind of dances around. Because remember, when this is down 50 to 100 feet, the fish can go for the whole spoon, so it's nice for them to target onto something, just to grab that treble. So I'm going to lower it back down. He's 15 inches. So some people would eat a trout that size, but we're releasing all of them. These guys are just too much fun. I'm just going to hold them in the water. And that hook should just fall out. Come on, come on. There. I'm going to hold him out a little bit. And there he goes. Now there's the jig that I got that fish on. You can see that it's a pretty big jig head. That's about a 1 ounce. But you know what? These lake trout, even the small ones, don't seem to mind the weight. They probably sense the mass underwater and then they go for it. And all I've done is rig it with one of these Trigger X minnows. This is the package that they come in, and it's really important, you know, these little Ziplocs, that you make sure to close them, because otherwise your whole bag will smell like Trigger X. Aaron, have you ever had that happen?
Oh,
When
yeah.
it leaks out. But this is the baby bass color, and you can see they're here. A lot of guys will use these for walleye and for bass. But you know what? They work great for trout. Even in the Niagara River, I'm sure you do a lot of guiding. I'm sure you use the plastic baits. They work good.
Oh, they work terrifically. Lakers absolutely love them on the Niagara, and ice fishing as well, anywhere, like Lake Simcoe or wherever you go ice fishing. One of the things that make a huge difference while out on the water fishing is simply having very fresh line spooled on your reel. And the reason being, line that's 2 or 3 years old can be weakened, it might have abrasions on it, and especially if it's monofilament, it's going to be very coily and you're not going to be able to cast well with it. So it's very important every year to spool fresh line on the reel. This is a Rapala R-type reel I have here, and it really makes a big difference to have fresh line spooled up. I like to do that with all my reels. Now, there's Suffix 832. It's a terrific line. It really lasts a long time, but even though it lasts a long time and it's very durable and retains its strength, I still like to change it up every year because it gets a lot of use. Something we're using today for the lake trout is a fluorocarbon leader. Now, this is 10-pound Suffix fluorocarbon leader, and it's really important to have about maybe 6 or 7 feet of fluorocarbon to the braid because it has low light refraction qualities, and the fish don't see the line and they can actually concentrate on the lure without spooking. We're fishing some pretty deep water for lake trout, and it's important to be able to feel those subtle bites with the braided line.
Fisher girl! Catch the passion!
I like to fish for small fish, and this rod is perfect. It's a perfect trout rod, actually. It's a little bit shorter, but it has a very, very nice action on it. It's 2-piece.
Yep.
Has a nice profile for our hands. Nice spinning reel that also, and look at that.
Pretty bright idea.
Isn't
that is
it?
awesome. You know what
It's a
I
lot of
like?
fun.
This is really nice, this material, because it's the closest you can get to cork.
Yep.
And also the reel seat. This is an actual reel seat with a locking ring, which is nice. Because sometimes the rings just slide on and the reel can loosen, especially when you're fighting a fish or you're casting the whole time. So this is very smart.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Arctic Armor. Warm, dry, alive.
Oh yeah, that's a better fish.
You know what? I'm going to keep my line down. Hopefully it won't get stuck.
That's a much better fish.
Good.
How much bigger, I don't know.
We'll
I
find
can't
out
make
when you
any
get it to the
guarantees.
top. Yep. I'm still amazed that we haven't seen other people. You know, it's just after the long weekend, we haven't seen anybody fishing.
I'm blown away.
Yeah.
I would have expected a lot more people to be out.
Yeah.
Usually by May 2-4 and on, there's quite a few
Because the
people out.
weather's not bad. You know, Lake Joseph is a beautiful location to come up even right throughout the summer. We've been staying at Rocky Crest Resort, and it's so nice. Oh, look at another nice lake trout
Beautiful.
about the same size. You know, you can go
Touch
golfing.
bigger.
We had dinner last night out on the patio. It was beautiful.
Oh, it was
It
gorgeous.
was nice and warm, right?
No, it's a
And,
very nice resort.
Today we stopped. We caught 4 or 5 lake trout. Went in for lunch at the clubhouse at the golf course.
Very nice way to spend.
Nice release.
There
Hard
it
to hold
goes.
on to it.
Very nice way to spend a couple of days.
Yes, definitely.
Just gorgeous resort.
And very nice accommodations. You know, we each have our own, I'll call them a cottage, because they're not cabins, really, they're beautiful.
They
You know,
are
they've
like
got
a
everything.
cottage. They have a
Yeah.
fireplace and everything.
Yeah.
And a jacuzzi, hot tub.
Yeah. And there were lots of kids out yesterday kayaking, because it was one of the first nice days. Because remember, it's early in the year. So there's nice trails that I saw. I was walking Mulligan on some of the trails. Nice thing is that they're pet friendly, so you can take your pet, bring it up here. And I'm sure they've got other water sports too. We've just been busy fishing. But I can't imagine coming here in the middle of summer and going for the smallmouth, because I'm sure there's really good smallmouth bass fishing. There's so many structures and islands and everything.
Yeah, the smallmouth fishing is incredible up here.
And it kind of feels like you're even further north, even though we're not that far, right, from Toronto.
It's
Maybe
not far from Toronto
an hour
at
and
all.
a half, 2 hours
Yeah.
at the most.
No, it's not far from Toronto, and it's like you're on a typical Canadian Shield
Yep.
lake that's much further north. Just beautiful scenery. I just got a hit, you just got a bite.
This is funny. We're not getting big fish, but it's steady action. I mean, we haven't had a lull in it.
No, it's fun. Lots of hits, you can't complain.
And because of the conditions, I mean, there's nobody out here. The fog is just starting to lift, so you can barely make out some of the islands and the shorelines around. I wonder if that one's going to come back and hit you.
I'm wondering. But it's beautiful up here. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous scenery. And now that the fog's lifting a little bit, we can see some of this beautiful scenery.
And it's a huge lake. We're just fishing one small section of it. It looks like it's, I don't know, 10 miles long or something. It's huge.
Yeah, it's
with
a
all
big
the
lake.
inlets and outlets.
Yep.
Here it comes. See if it releases. Good.
Not bad.
Burping. Come on. Release the rest of the. Oh, it's on the stinger hook. That's interesting.
Oh, wow.
So
Maybe
this is
that's why I'm
something
missing
here.
mine. I don't have a
Maybe.
stinger.
There, it's burping. It's releasing that air.
Yep.
So you can see what I did. I told Aaron earlier, I'm using one of these stand-up jig heads. They're from Storm. So as soon as this guy slows down here, I'll be able to show you. I don't want to squeeze him too much. And he's caught on that stinger hook. It's just a single hook. I don't remember where I put the pliers. I think I can get the hook out. Did you have another hit?
Yep.
Or you have one on?
Oh, I just had another hit.
So see if I can get this off, right? Come on, slow down here. There, got it out. Look at that nice little lake trout. Another one, and I can't hold it. They're like a snake when you get them in your hand. It's about another 15-incher.
They're
There you
squirmy.
go, straight down. So while you're trying to hook one, I'll explain to them the stand-up jig head. So this is an actual Storm jig head. They're made for the vibro tail. And you can see that that little minnow, this is the Trigger X 4.5-inch minnow, is pretty straight on my line. But watch the action. You'll see why these lake trout like to nail it. So it's just good to use variety. Aaron's also a big fan of us using different presentations. So this is more of a minnow presentation. Aaron has that tube, which you can fish real slow. So I mean, a lake trout shouldn't resist that. Look at that action. Okay, let's lower it down. You know, I'm here on the waterfront and you can see these cattails. I'm looking at the lily pads. It's a perfect place to fish Texas rig worms for largemouth bass, because when you rig them Texas rig, whether you pin the weight ahead of the worm or you let it slide up and down, once the hook is inside the worm, it's virtually snag proof and weedless. The only problem is that a lot of the weights used for Texas rig worms are made out of lead. Tungsten is a very good alternative. Not only does it sink faster than lead, but also it's more compact. And if you touch rocks or things on the bottom, it makes more noise. So if you're looking to fish Texas rig worms in a beautiful place like this along the shore, instead of using a lead sinker, go to tungsten steel. Arctic Armor makes a great suit for cold weather conditions. Not only does it keep you warm, but it's also buoyant in case you fall in the water. Now let me tell you a little bit about the advantages of their bibs. Number one, they're made with 3 layers of Insultex material. That's that special material that keeps the cold out, and that's also very buoyant. As you can see, they have nice adjustable nylon suspenders with quick release snaps, which makes it easy to take them off or put them on. You can see that the leggings have this really nice zipper system with the snaps that open up all the way to the knees. And one of my favorite feature, they call this the gator. If you look here, you can see that they actually have a tightening system, which is almost like a stocking that's actually down my leg right inside the boot. So there's no way that snow can get up inside the suit. So if I pull on it, you can see here it's sealed. So whether you fall in the water, that'll prevent the water from going up, or if you're in very heavy snow conditions, there's no way that the snow can go up into your suit. Also, you can see that the knees are padded really well. There's 5 layers of the Insultex material on the knees, just like there is on the behind right here. So very good for sitting down. It'll keep you warm even if you're sitting on the ice, or if you're kneeling down and doing utility work or landing fish when you're ice fishing. The 2 large pockets are ideal for putting all kinds of gear in. That'll make sure you have everything you need right in your pockets right when you need them. Sometimes when you're fishing in deep water, or even in shallower water, and fish are not that active, sometimes they don't take the whole bait. And we found today that we had to add stinger hooks to get some of the fish. So on some of the lures that I was using, like the 4.5-inch Trigger X, these are the ones here that are the minnow with the split tail action. You can see that the jig head is pretty short. So I've added a piece of 20-pound test Suffix fluorocarbon leader. Now the reason I've gone to 20 is because I find that if you use a stiffer piece of fluorocarbon, It ensures that the line doesn't get caught against the first hook. And what I've done, instead of just putting the hook from one side through to the other side, I've actually put the hook through so that it faces up and then pushed it back in so that it can't pivot around. And that way you should get a really good hook up on the top of the fish if it's going to hit short. Now what Aaron did, because he was using a tube, he rigged up a piece of fluorocarbon and then he put a small treble. And you can see if I hang this straight down that the treble is just a little bit further back than the tentacles. So the fish focuses on the actual soft plastic, but if it's going to hit short, it's going to get the treble hook in its mouth. Now, both of these stinger hooks in no way interfere with the action of the lure. A lot of walleye fishermen use stinger hooks because walleye can be very inactive when they hit very slow and you need that stinger hook to hook them. But you know what? Any fish can be inactive, and if they're fussy or you've missed 2-3 fish in a row, add a stinger hook. You'll probably catch some. Aaron? Fishing is sometimes really funny. So Aaron had this idea that we should go in shallow and cast for some northern pike here on Lake Joseph. And guess what? It's not a pike. Can you believe this?
A laker.
It's rolling
That
and
is
rolling and
unbelievable.
rolling in the line. Look at this.
Look how close we are to shore. This
I
is
threw
crazy.
it in
Look at
that
this.
boat basin right there.
And that's-
I saw it come up and nailed it. I thought it was a nice pike.
Well, it almost has the similar markings, right?
Amazing, eh?
Wow.
That's amazing. Now you got to be
Your
really careful.
player's handle? Yeah, there's lots of hooks.
I'm going to grab the pliers for you.
I can't believe that, Italo.
I
A
even have the
laker.
tailing glove if you want to hold on to it. So just take your time. This is where we got to be careful.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
we
you
had
don't
a
wanna get
pause because of the rain. And even though this lake trout is good eating size and you can't keep them, we're going to be releasing it because we're just out here to have some fun. But it's amazing. I mean, look at this is like casting for pike in shallow water. And that hit a 14 centimeter husky jerk that I'm going to show you in 1 second. Aaron, you got your hands full there. Look at this. This is, oh, good job. We'll get the fish out of there first.
Yeah, it's all wrapped in the
Yeah,
line.
if
It
you
really
get that
rolled.
one hook out of the side,
Yeah.
it's still got one treble hook in it. Okay, Aaron, you're doing good. Let's
There
just
you
get
go.
the fish out of the net first. I put this glove on to try
Beautiful.
to hold it.
Here you
'cause
go.
know what they're, you know
Very
what they're
squirmy.
like, right? I don't mind
Wow.
if you hold on to them, but look at, there's a nice little lake trout. I'm just gonna wipe it clean there. That fish isn't big. It's about 2¼ pounds, and it nailed that husky jerk. Just gonna get him in the water. Look at that. Nice lake trout. You know, the water here in Lake Joseph is so clear, and boy, he didn't stay on there very long. Good thing I had the glove on it.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you by Suffix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. Yamaha, Conquer Outdoors. Insect Defend Patch, deep free protection from biting insects. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922.
Hi, I'm Mike Gerson, the head professional at Rocky Crest Golf Club. Rocky Crest Golf Club celebrates the natural features of the Canadian Shield in Ontario's Muskoka region and was designed by Thomas McBroom. The seamless routing, views, and abundance of wildlife enhances a memorable golf experience. It has been receiving rave reviews since May 2000 when we opened.